Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our registration information session tonight. If you're here, it's likely because you're a student that's starting at Carleton in September, and we are so excited to have you. The decision to go to university and your decision to choose Carleton is so exciting. And we're happy and excited to guide you through the next steps of this process and really introduce you to what life at Carleton can look like. My name is Caitlin. I'm the National Recruitment Officer here at Carleton, and I've actually been at Carleton now for 15 years, which is mind-blowing. It felt like I started here yesterday, but I do truly remember what it was like choosing my courses for the first time. The system has come so far since then, but the nerves can still be the same. So if you are a little excited and a little nervous about this process, know that that is entirely normal. And we're here this evening to help make that process as smooth as possible. While you're here tonight, if you have any questions, feel free to navigate to the Q&A function, and we have folks here to answer those. You can find Q&A in the menu bar at the bottom. I have folks here both from the Student Registration Assistance team to help answer your registration questions, and from the Undergraduate Recruitment Office to help answer all of the other questions that you may have. And we'll be here throughout the evening tonight to help make sure that you are ready and excited for what comes next. As we get started this evening, I always just like to take a moment to acknowledge Carleton's campus. We have a beautiful campus. We are so lucky to be in the place that we are, and I think you'll really get to love and experience the campus that you come to. But it's also important that we, as an institution, as a staff member, acknowledge that Carleton is located on traditional and unceded Algonquin territory. What this means for you is, as a student, this is a great opportunity to learn, to explore, to unlearn, and to meet folks from all kinds of different cultures and backgrounds. The Carleton campus is such a beautiful interconnected network of folks from a variety of backgrounds, and our Indigenous community on campus is really awesome if you're an Indigenous student trying to find your community and learn more about what that looks like. But it's also great as settlers or as non-Indigenous folks to learn more about the role that you can play in working towards reconciliation. I encourage you to check out our Indigenous website that's been posted in the chat to find more opportunities for you and to really take advantage of the fact that university is a place to learn, to explore, and to ask questions, and so that you can really develop skills and knowledge as you move in to the next phases of your life. For tonight, I'm going to talk about three main areas. The first and most important for this evening is registration. What does that look like? What steps do you need to take? What resources do you have? I'm going to go through all of those from start to finish. But I'm also going to give you a few insider tips on orientation and next steps that you can take in preparing for the fall. So yes, we're going to talk about registration. I'm going to show you lots of those pieces, but also know that we're going to talk about a few more next steps and opportunities for you as we approach the end of the presentation. For registration, we're going to dive right in. I'm going to introduce you to some tools, some timelines, and some terminology before we get into the actual registration process. First, registration tools. What are some things that you should know, have bookmarked, or be accessing for this process? The first place that you should be looking is Carleton 360. Carleton 360 should hopefully be familiar to you. This is where you are accessing your admissions offer, all of those details. It's also where you registered for tonight's event. In Carleton 360, once you've accepted your offer, you'll have access to our administrative system called Carleton Central. And Carleton Central is where you do all of the administrative pieces of your program. So registering for courses, requesting documents, applying for scholarships, these all live within Carleton Central. I'm going to show you where those things look, but know that Carleton 360 is not just your hub for admission. It's your student hub throughout the entirety of your degree. Some other tools that are helpful, the registration website is really helpful at carleton.ca/registration. This has all kinds of checklists, next steps, resources, and highlights a lot of the things that I'll be talking about this evening. Additionally, your first year course selection guide, if you're wondering what courses it is that you should be taking in your first year here at Carleton, your first year course selection guide will have that information. It will tell you exactly what courses you need in your program. if you have some extra choice of electives, what things you should keep in mind with those pieces, if you have technology requirements for your program, who contacts may be. I really encourage you to give your first year course selection guide a read through, as there's a variety of really helpful information in that registration tool as well. When it comes to timelines, there are a few dates that you'll want to keep in mind. Um, one of the other things that I really recommend to students is to make sure that you're staying on top of timelines in university. You can find all of our dates and deadlines on our current students' website. Some helpful ones for registration. This time of year, May 26th was the first day that we released the fall and winter schedule, and you could begin planning your registration. This is not the start of registration. You haven't missed anything. This is just the earliest point at which we started releasing information. An important date for you, if you're a new incoming first year student, your time to register will be sometime between July 2nd and 4th of 2025. So we still have a couple weeks before the registration process starts, and your time ticket, the official time where you can start registration, will be sometime between July 2nd and 4th. And I'll tell you where you can find that date and time in just a minute. It's important to know that your time ticket is just the earliest point at which you can begin registration. Once your time ticket passes, once it opens, registration remains open until the registration deadline. For full fall courses, courses that run from September to December, the registration deadline, the last time that you could potentially make any changes, is September 16th. There can be different deadlines depending on the course that you're taking, so you really do have a good time frame here to prepare for registration ahead of July 2nd to 4th, and then to ask questions and make any potential adjustments up until the beginning of September. I also want to go through some registration terminology before I jump in too far into the process, as these are often tools or terms that I use throughout the presentation. The first one, and one of the biggest questions I get this time of year, is what is my course load and what does that look like? Your course load is the total number of credits that you're taking in a semester or in a term. Generally, students take 2.5 credits or 5 classes each term. That can vary slightly depending on your program or your personal preference, but the general course load is 2.5 credits per term. If you do 2.5 credits per term, 2 terms in 1 year over 4 years, that would get you the 20 credits that you need for your degree. So generally, students are taking 2.5 credits a semester or 5 classes. And that's because the credit value of our courses here at Carleton is generally zero point 0.5 credits for a one-term course. So a course that runs from September to December or from January to April is generally worth zero point 0.5 credits. Prerequisite is hopefully a term that you've heard before. There are prerequisites in high school and in university, and those are courses that you need to take before you can take another one. So, an example is you need to take Chemistry 1001 before you can take Chemistry 1002. The knowledge in the first course is required for the second one, and so those are built into your program as you might take Chemistry 1001 in the fall and then 1002 in the winter so that you build that knowledge term over term. Now, a preclusion sounds similar to a prerequisite, but is different. A preclusion is 2 courses that are so similar in content that you cannot earn credit for both. So you'll want to pay attention to these if you're registering for courses that seem similar, to make sure that you're not taking 2 courses that are too similar to earn credit in both. The example here is Math 1007 and Math 1004. I believe these are both linear algebra courses. You can't take both of them in separate areas. You would take the one that's relevant to you. This section of the course, you'll see these as we search for courses. I'll show you exactly where to find this, but these are just different timing opportunities of the same course. So many courses are offered multiple times in the same term, and you choose the one that works the best for your schedule. These appear in the course search function as the letter after the end of the course number. So in this case, Busy 1004A or Busy 1004B. That letter is an indication of the section of the course. Some of these sections or lecture components will have linked components. Linked components are things like tutorials, discussion groups, or laboratories that are associated with your lecture. Where these are required, they will be listed in the course information, and you'll have to choose one of those that corresponds to your lecture. So if you were in Busy 1004A, you might choose a tutorial from A1, A2, A3, or A4, and the specific section in the search function will tell you exactly which ones to look for. So that sets the foundation with some tools, some timelines, and some terminology. Now I'm going to show you some of the screen captures of this system and talk you through what the registration process actually looks like. So the first is next week we will release our time tickets. You can find general information on these and on others on our registration website. And this is just a screen capture of the website. When you go to find your time ticket, you'll be going into Carleton Central through Carleton 360 and heading to the registration function. So you'll see registration, and under there, we're looking at the getting started section. It's really your first stop in this process. When you click on getting started, if you did it today, it would say nothing is yet available. You have to come back at a later date. Mid to late next week, we'll be posting your specific time ticket. So again, this is the earliest point at which you can register for classes. And for new incoming first year students, that'll be sometime between July 2nd and 4th. You'll receive both a specific day. This student received July 2nd and a specific time, in this case, 3 p.m. And that marks the earliest point at which you can register for classes. If you are unavailable at that specific time, it's okay. If your time ticket is at 3 o'clock and you are at work and you're not available until 5, that's fine, because this is just when the system opens for you to be able to begin the registration process. Through our setup tonight, you'll realize that the registration process can actually be quite quick, but you just want to do it as close to your time ticket as you can. So if you're not available at 3, but you can log in at 5, if you log in at 5, you'll still be able to follow the steps. We just encourage you to do as close to this time ticket as possible. So again, this will be posted in mid-June, likely mid to late next week. Now, how do you register for courses? How do you find the information? And how do you build your potential worksheets? Everything that you need for these next steps and most of the registration process, again, is found under that registration heading. And in this case, we're going to build your timetable/registration. Once you click on that link, the first thing that will happen is you'll be prompted to select a term, in this case, fall 2025, and then later on in the process, once you've done fall, winter 2026. For most students, you'll from here just hit proceed to search. For students in the Bachelor of Engineering and the Bachelor of Architectural Studies, the Bachelor of Industrial Design, or the Bachelor of Information Technology, your courses in first year have been pre-selected for you, and you'll be prompted on this page to go straight to View Worksheet. Those pre-selected courses or your block registration is mandatory, so please review your pre-selected courses first, and then if you need to add an elective or additional courses, you'll be able to go back through and follow these steps. When you're ready to start searching for courses, this is for most students the very first step. You'll first select fall 2025 and then hit proceed to search. When you get to the search for courses page, there's really only 3 search functions on this page that are helpful for you, or that you should be using, especially in first year. The first one is course level. You'll be looking for undergraduate courses as part of your bachelor's degree. So in this case, instead of all levels, I would select undergraduate. Then the subject section is the most helpful piece that you'll be looking for. In here, you'll be including the subject of the course it is that you're looking to register for. This isn't always necessarily your major, as in your major, you might be taking courses from other areas. So if you are in criminology, yes, you might be taking a criminology course, but you may also take a law course and a sociology course and a psychology course. So this subject is the subject of the course that you're looking for and can often be found in your first year course selection guide. Finally, the third field that I use to search is this course number box. In the course number box, you have 2 options. You can input the full course number of the course that you're searching for. So if you knew that you were looking for Chemistry 1001, you could pick Chemistry in the subject list and put 1001 in this box. The other option is if you're not sure what course it is that you're looking for, but you know it's a first year course because you're a first year student, you can just put the number one in this box, and that will bring up all first year courses within that subject area. And so that really helps narrow down the search to make sure that you're picking the appropriate courses for your year level and program. So once you've filled out those three sections, again, the course level, the subject of the course, and the course number, you at the bottom just hit search, and that will bring you to the search results page. The search results page provides you all of the information that falls within your criteria. And so in this case, this student likely searched for psychology, either 1001 or psychology in the subject and one in the course number box. As you can see, Psychology 1001 has a number of sections available. In this screenshot, we can see section B, C, D, E, and even part of F. There may even be more sections than this. All of these courses, all of these sections carry the same content. They are the same course. They are just offered at different times. Section B looks like it's offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. or in the 10:05 to 11:25. Section C is offered on Wednesdays and Fridays from 4:05 p.m. to 5:25 p.m. These are offered at different days, at different times, but they are the same course. You choose the one that works the best for your schedule. Some of the other helpful things that you can see on this page under section information, you can see the type of course that that's running. You can see section B, C, D, and B, C, and D are all in-person on-campus courses, but section E is an online course with scheduled in-person on-campus assessments. So you'll want to make sure that you're taking a look ahead of time to know what it is, what type of section or what type of course it is that's running. Is that on campus? Is that fully online? Or is that online with on-campus assessments? I will also note that everything that's blue on this search results page is a clickable link. It'll open a new window and provide you more information. In the case of the subject or the title, it'll tell you more information about that course, and any of the headers will tell you more about what those pieces mean. If these courses had an associated linked component, they would also be listed underneath as linked options, and then it would show you which ones you can choose from. When you're ready to add a course to your worksheet to start building an option of what your schedule can look like, you just select the box next to the course and then hit proceed to worksheet. That will bring you to your worksheet. This worksheet does not reserve you a space in the course. It does not commit you to taking that course. It simply provides you an opportunity to build your worksheets ahead of registration. In this case, the student added two courses to their worksheet, one and two. So they currently have 1 credit of courses on their tentative plan for a schedule. On this page, you can see the courses that you've added to your worksheet. If you scroll down, you can see a visual representation of what it is that your schedule can look like. So if you're a visual learner like I am, it's a great place to cross-reference what the week actually looks like instead of just trying to picture it in your mind. One of the other helpful tools that you want to pay attention to on this page is this warnings column. The warnings column will tell you if something is potentially wrong with the course that you've picked, if you might not be able to register for it, or any other warnings that might be relevant. If you have a registration warning, you can simply click on that blue link and it will tell you what the warning is. If you're not sure how to resolve it, I'll introduce you to the registration assistance team and their contact info a little bit later in the presentation, and you're welcome to reach out to them for help in resolving any warnings. Now, if you're planning your worksheet ahead of your time ticket, so if through the month of June you're planning what your options can look like, you'll want to save your worksheet so that at your time ticket you can come back and just simply register for your courses. To save your worksheet, you type a title of your worksheet into this Save As box and then hit the Save As button. I used to save my worksheet as option 1, option 2, option 3, so that when I came back to register, I could pull up my options and choose the one that I wanted to register for at that time. And then you're not starting this process from scratch every time you come into the system. So we recommend that you save your worksheets into Carleton Central. Again, it doesn't save you a seat in the course or commit you to those courses. It just makes the registration process a little bit easier. Um, And then it also makes it easier to pull it up later on. Once you've planned your worksheet for the fall 2025 semester, you'll go back to the beginning of this process and do this all over again for winter 2026. So you can spend some time now in June to plan out what your schedules could potentially look like from September all the way through until April. Now, it is important for me to note again that putting these courses on your worksheet doesn't formally register you in these courses. To register, you have to come back at your time ticket, so that date and time that's available under the Getting Started section of Carleton Central. When you come back at your time ticket, you want to pull up your saved worksheet, whichever one at that time it is that you're looking for. You want to confirm that that's right and that there's no warnings or conflicts on your schedule. And then you want to formally register in your courses. To do that, on your worksheet, you'll have a new button that you can click. Under the registration section, you'll be able to click on the button that says Proceed to Registration. Once you click Proceed to Registration, it'll bring you to the Add Drop Classes page, and a bunch of seemingly random numbers will populate in the boxes across. On this page, all you need to do is press Submit. So you come back in, you pull up your worksheet, you click Proceed to Registration, and then on this page, you press Submit. Once you press Submit, the system will attempt to register you for those courses. There are no fireworks on this page. It just registers you for the courses, and if you're successful, they'll appear on this page as registered on with the date. You'll also be able to see how much of a course load you've registered for. It will add all of those pieces together. If for any reason you're not able to register for the course, instead you'll see this registration add error, and then I would recommend that you reach out to the registration assistance team for support. Again, you'll do this twice. First for fall of 2025, and then you'll come back and do this process again for winter of 2026, so that at your time ticket or as close to it as you can, you've completed your registration for this upcoming academic year from September all the way through until April. So those are really the steps that it is that you're looking for. You'll go through those search steps many times as you look for courses and try different options and build out what that can look like. And then you'll want to save a couple of worksheets. Try some different days and times for different sections, and add some different tutorial or lab options so that when you come in to register, you're just pulling up that worksheet, making sure that everything's right, that there's no warnings and no conflicts, and then hitting submit, proceed to registration, and then submit in that process. If at any point in the registration process, in planning your worksheet, in registering for courses, or in navigating your plans for the rest of the summer when it comes to registration, you're always welcome to reach out to the Student Registration Assistance team. Again, they're here tonight. They've been furiously typing away, answering a number of your questions, but they're also available all throughout the summer. They're available Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So not on weekends and not on holidays. They're available by email at registrar@carleton.ca, over the phone. When you call the registrar's office number that's on the screen, choose option 1. That will bring you to registration support, or they're available in person in the Torrey building here on campus. They can help you if you're running into warnings, full classes, waitlisting, if you're trying to choose electives, navigate breadth requirements, or you're just not really sure what to do next. The registration assistance team is here to help support you through that process. If you have questions tonight, continue to pop those in the Q&A, and they are taking a look at those questions and conversations as we go through. Now, I did promise that I was going to give you a few gold nuggets of other things that are coming up through the process that you can look forward to as you start your journey here at Carleton. One of those options is orientation. Orientation is really your space to be introduced to life here at Carleton, to learn a little bit more, and to get ready for the next phase of your academic journey. One of our options is our summer orientation day that's near the beginning of August. This is a one-day experience here on campus and offers a variety of different programming options, both for you and for your supporters. We also have fall orientation. That's right around the start of classes. Fall orientation has a centralized option for any student. It also has a science orientation, a Sprott School of Business orientation, and a Faculty of Engineering and Design orientation. So you can choose the option that is best for you. Registration for summer orientation is available now. Registration for fall orientation will open later in June. There's only one mandatory orientation program for all students, and that's Academic Orientation Day. This will be the day before classes begin, so no registration is required because all students are expected to be there. And this is your introduction to your program here at Carleton. So you'll meet students in your program, you'll meet professors, you'll navigate campus, you'll learn more about your program and other opportunities. It's a really great opportunity to like start building friendships and connect with students in your program, and also to meet the staff and faculty that will be supporting you over the next years that you're here. Academic orientation also leads into Expo Carleton, which is in the afternoon. Expo Carleton is our clubs and societies event. So, if you are looking to join a club, a sports team, access services here on campus, Expo Carleton is a really great way to find all of those opportunities, to experience those resources, and to sign up for all of their mailing lists. So, you don't need to know necessarily what it is that you want to join ahead of time. You'll be able to find all of those resources and access those folks and upper year students at Expo Carleton. This is a really great way to engage with the community. Being a student and taking your academic program is a big piece of the university experience. But what you do outside of the classroom can really differentiate you when you're looking for jobs, future careers, or just building a friendship network. The best friends that I made when I was a university student, I made through clubs and societies because we all had a similar interest in the area. So, whether you like playing video games, board games, reading books, you like playing sports, you like going skiing or snowboarding, there's a club for you. So, our 170 different clubs and societies will be set up on this day alongside a number of other resources. So, you'll come to your mandatory academic orientation in the program in the morning, and then you'll go to Expo Carleton in the afternoon. It's a really great way to start life here on campus before you get into all of your academics and your first classes on the next day. Finally, if you're joining tonight, you're an international student, there's also an international iStart orientation. Registration will open at the beginning of July, and this is a digital online orientation to introduce you to a number of the resources available at the university. All of these orientation options, dates, information, reminders is available at carleton.ca/orientation or through the QR code that's available on the screen. So that's orientation. Before I wrap up and we continue to jump into all of the questions, I just wanted to give you an idea as to things that it is that you can be doing to prepare for the fall. Really, what next steps do you have? Going out of this session, you'll want to go and plan your worksheets for fall 2025 and winter 2026. You want to build those options and make sure that you have options available. And if you have more questions, if things are challenging, if you're not sure where to go, you can connect with the student registration assistance team ahead of registering at your time ticket. So once you have your worksheets planned, you need to come back at your time ticket between July 2nd and 4th if you're a new incoming first year student, or in the second week of July for upper year students, and formally register for your courses. So make sure that you put that in your calendar and come back in to register for courses at your time tickets. You can also go ahead and register for orientation opportunities. For the ones that are not yet available for registration, they'll be posted and available for registration either later this month or early in July. So, registering for those ahead of time helps you to plan ahead with timelines, resources, information, and any additional costs. Additionally, if you're a student who requires academic accommodations, maybe you have an IEP in high school, or you're just looking for some additional support, you can register with our Paul Menton Center or Center for Students with Disabilities anytime ahead of the fall. We and they always recommend that you register early. So you can register for an intake appointment either in person, virtual, or over the phone on their website at carleton.ca/PMC. That link is also available in the chat. And we would recommend that you do it early so that you have time to get all of those pieces ready before you start in the fall. If you only go in to register with the Palmenton Center when you begin classes in September, it is likely that your accommodations will not be immediately available. But so long as you've accepted your offer to Carleton, which all of you will have done by this point, you can go ahead and register with the Palmenton Center. So go ahead, fill out their intake form, and set up that appointment. Additionally, over the summer, you'll need to pay your tuition fees. Your tuition fees will be applied to your student account once you register for classes, as they're based on the number of classes that you're registering for. So once you register for classes, under registration, you can click on calculate amount to pay, and it will tell you exactly what you owe in tuition fees. If you're also living in residence, those fees are generally applied to your account in early July. If you're looking for more information on how to pay your fees, what fees are included, what are mandatory, what are optional. You can head to our student accounts website at carleton.ca/student accounts or carleton.ca/fees, and all of the information is available on their website. And then you can get ready for September. I know this seems like a lot. There's a number of steps to take to getting ready, and this is really how you can start kind of exploring what university life is like. But you should also take time this summer to relax, probably get some sleep, and build the excitement of what university life can look like for you. Coming to Carleton is the best decision I ever made. I have spent almost every day since September of 2010 here on campus engaging with the Carleton community, because this is really where I found my people. It's where I found my people. It's where I found my passion. It's where I built my skills. And that is such an exciting experience. So enjoy the summer, enjoy this space that you have as you wrap up this school year, and prepare for your next adventure. If you're moving onto campus, you can start your packing. If you're living at home, plan your navigation route to campus, and really try and foster connections with those that are also coming, so that when you arrive on campus in September, you are ready to go. Coming to Carleton is such an exciting opportunity. I'm so glad that so many of you have made that decision. And registering for courses is really your first big step as a Carleton student. You'll do this process every year that you're a student as you select courses. So know that the practice that you're doing by building these worksheets and navigating these steps this year will help you as you navigate into those steps in the future. Again, if you have any registration related questions, the student registration assistance team is here to help you. They're available all summer long, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, so not on holidays or weekends. Available by email, phone, or in person. So if you have registration specific questions, you can check out the registration website at carleton.ca/registration. There are tons of great resources available there. If you have questions that aren't registration related, you're just not sure where to start, you can also always reach out to our team at admissions@carleton.ca, and we're happy to help point you in the right direction.